Everyone knows that feeling, wanting to experience more stories, but struggling to find the time. That's where Audible changes everything. With over 1 million audiobooks and Audible originals, there's a story waiting to spark anyone's imagination. Take The Paris Apartment by Lucy Foley, the gripping psychological thriller that's keeping listeners on the edge of their seats. Imagine unraveling its mysteries during your morning commute, or losing yourself in its twists and turns while doing household chores. That's the magic of Audible. It transforms daily routines into opportunities for thrilling discoveries. The best part? Members get access to thousands of included titles, with new content added regularly. From bestsellers to hidden gems, every genre imaginable is at their fingertips. And with one easy-to-use app, switching between favorites or discovering new passions has never been simpler. There's more to imagine when you listen. Start a free 30-day Audible trial and get your first audiobook free at audible.com/Wondery. That's audible.com/Wondery.
Don't ask me to talk.
Hey, Happy New Year. Eric Ryder here with you. We are taking the week off here at Don't Ask Me to Talk to celebrate the new year. We didn't want to leave you hanging, though, so we decided to bring back a special episode of Stacy Connects that you may not have heard unless you subscribe to both podcasts. And if you do, thank you so much for that. An episode that we recorded back in June of 2024 to reintroduce folks to Don't Ask Me to Talk after taking a year off. So enjoy, and we'll be back with a brand new edition of Don't Ask Me to Talk next week. Connection through conversation. Join self-described conversationalist Stacy Heller as she talks with guests about topics and ideas that are sometimes informational, sometimes inspirational, and always entertaining on Stacy Connects.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. I am Stacy Heller, and this is Stacy Connects. This show is about making connections through conversation. It's about asking questions instead of making assumptions. And, of course, it's about engaging with the elephant in any room. Thank you so much for listening. If you haven't already subscribed, please consider doing so. And while you're at it, how about you rate the show 5 stars? How about you give it a thumbs up? How about, crazy as it seems, you leave a comment? That is super helpful and very much appreciated. If you have an idea or an idea for a topic or an idea for a guest or a comment that you want to share with me directly, you can leave a voicemail or text 475-999-2726. My guest today is my co-host from another podcast that I do. That's right. If you can't get enough of me, then check out the podcast Don't Ask Me to Talk with my co-host, Eric Ryder.
Hey.
Hey, it's you.
It's me.
I mean, that's right. Now, I feel like Mom would definitely listen to that show because you're on it. And I've always joked that you've now become like her favorite kid. Yeah. Just trying to be modest. So we'll get into this in a little bit. But the show is back. We had done the show for a little over a year. And
that's right. It's called Don't Ask Me to Talk.
Mm-hmm.
It's available now wherever you find your podcasts. And we're having a lot of fun with it. We've, I think we're like 4 or 5 episodes in of this new series. And I had a little bit of trepidation that we wouldn't be able to get that old magic back that we had because we took over a year off.
Yes.
But it came right back immediately. So
it totally did.
Yeah.
It's so fun.
We're having tons of fun.
So we're going to do sort of an episode within an episode because I want to introduce you to the show so that you'll go and you'll listen to that one too.
Absolutely.
But in the meantime, of course, I have to share with you some observations and conversations. Now, by the time this airs, this will hopefully be all put to bed and resolved and whatever. But the big thing in my life at the moment is our cat, Cole, getting attacked by a bobcat. Now, I have spoken. I don't know if I've talked about this on the show, but I've certainly talked about it in my real life. I'm doing air quotes often, that we live in a development. It's not like we're in a remote neighborhood or anything. And we have coyotes that we can hear at night. I guess I have seen them. We definitely have bobcats. We have bear, the whole thing. Now, the bobcat thing. It's a long and storied thing with our cats in that I have observed our cat Finn, who's the middle cat child, playing, dare I say it, with a bobcat and, like doing parkour in our backyard, like racing around. And you could say chasing, except that honestly, the bobcat, there's no reason that the bobcat shouldn't have gotten Finn if they were chasing. And opened the door and I was like, Finn, like, what are you doing? And he was like, oh, I got to go in now. And like trotted across the yard and came in. Another time the bobcat actually came into the house when I had the door open and Finn came racing in and the bobcat came racing in and it got a few feet into the house. And I was like, what? And the bobcat was like, what? And then like left. The bobcat has peered into the house. It sits on our front step. Now, obviously, all bobcats are not created equally. And so this is clearly a specific bobcat that I feel like Finn grew up with or something. I don't know. Except that this past week, Cole, the oldest, he got attacked by a bobcat. Now, Finn definitely seems to have some kind of understanding with this one bobcat. It doesn't mean that, as I said, all bobcats are created equally. And this bobcat, all the bobcats can't stand Cole. I feel like Finn, like a classic younger brother, is like, my brother's such a jerk. And so any bobcat that has interacted with Cole, it hasn't gone well. Whereas with Finn, he has this simpatico relationship. Anyway, so I heard from my bathroom what I thought was children sort of like chirping and laughing and strolling up the street towards the bus. And then I realized, no, they already went to school. And so I came running downstairs and there was my pufferfish black tuxedo cat all blown up and fuzzy with fear at the back slider door. And I was like, uh-oh, get inside. And I stepped out to see what had happened. And sure enough, there's a huge bobcat, a different one, trotting across the yard towards the neighbor's fence. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So I went and checked on Cole, and he looked a little worse for the wear, which is to say, yes, he was all fuzzy, his eyes were wide, but his ear looked like it had a little something out of it, and he was all ruffled. And I checked him to see if any damage had been done, and sure enough, my hand came away with blood, and I was like, holy cow. So called up to my husband, and I was like, we got to go to the vet, stat. And put him in the cat carrier and called around to emergency vet places, which you call places and they're like, sorry, we don't have any appointments. And it's like, wait, isn't it an ER? Like you don't have an appointment? So we ended up going to Blue Pearl in Kirkland. They have multiple offices and shout out to them. They did an amazing job. We called and said, we're coming in with our cat. He was attacked by a bobcat. And they were like, okay, we'll have triage ready and whatever. So shout out to them. They were awesome. And so he was whisked away when he got there. And this cat may have lost about 4 lives that day, but is the most resilient cat. That happened on a Wednesday. He had lost a lot of blood. His blood pressure was really low. He was clearly in shock. He had lots of cuts and scrapes and whatever. So they did triage. And then they said, we're going to wait until tomorrow, Thursday, to assess how he is and see what's going on with him. So they did that. And then Thursday afternoon, after they did all that, they said, you can come get him tonight. And we're like, shouldn't he be in the kitty ICU unit for a week? And, they're like, nope, you can come and get him. It'll save you money so that he doesn't have to spend another night at the vet. And so it only cost us $6,100 versus what it could have cost. And then we went and we got him. And we decided to put him upstairs in like a playroom area with access to Will's room, Will, my son. And he got out of the carrier and proceeded to jump up onto the bed, which we're like, you're not allowed to jump. And he's been quarantined because you never know with rabies. And so he can't interact with Finn and whatever. Anyway, this cat is like crazy. Like he was home. He was purring. He's like, it's good to be back. Now here we are. It is now 4 days post-incident, 5 days post-incident. And somehow he escaped from the playroom. It's a double doors and they were closed. And this morning we went looking for him and panicked. And lo and behold, he was on our daughter Grace's bed, which is not in that side of the house. And he was like, oh, you looking for me? So this cat is an inspiration, truly. It's a crazy story. Yes, I've learned my lesson. I've always had indoor-outdoor cats. I have learned in the Pacific Northwest that is not a safe thing. I hear you, PETA folks, vet folks, animal-loving folks. Yes, yes, yes. And so now he will not go out, and it will be brutal. But we're much more cautious. And as I said, not all bobcats are created equal. And it was traumatic for all of us. And take inspiration from him. No matter how bad you get beat up, you can still purr. Okay. That's my story.
Yeah, keep on purring.
Right?
Yeah.
It was a crazy thing.
I'm glad he's all right.
Yeah.
On the mend.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. We have given him this Pavlovian like thing where when we have to give him his meds, we're like, you'll get treats right after. So we have him in a onesie so that he can't lick at his wounds because the cone is it's hard on his neck where he has a cut. And he's already in a 12-month size, as in, that's right, 12-month-old. And so he may end up having to go into a bigger size if we keep giving him treats. But whatever, it's fine. Okay.
You're going to have a cat toddler on your hands before you know it.
And he's so like, he's like a little sausage. He reminds me of the character from, I think, A Bug's Life, who was the caterpillar. And he was always like, I'm going to be a beautiful butterfly. And he was like this really fat caterpillar. And that's what he looks like right now. He looks like an inchworm or a worm that is like very fat and juicy. It's very cute. Anyway, my ism this week. So Michael Jordan once said that you should focus like a laser, not a flashlight. Now, I'm going to go ahead and disagree with that. At certain times, that makes sense. You're on the court. You want to be laser focused. Great. However, in life, I feel like that's not what you should do when it comes to being curious.
Well, I was just going to say, try walking down a dark hallway guided only by a laser.
Well,
you trip and fall on your face.
Right? Like, I mean, I get what he's saying. And also, I think about being curious or learning new things. And maybe it's my ADHD mind, but having a more broad view of things is sort of interesting. Like, we recorded an episode recently of Don't Ask Me to Talk, and you talked about how we know a little bit about a lot of things. My husband says that all the time. He's like, I know a little bit about a lot.
Jack of all trades, master of none.
Right, exactly. And I'm a big fan of that premise. I mean, like, so much so that that's basically the whole concept of Don't Ask Me to Talk.
Right.
It's like, give us a few topics and we can go off onto these tangents and, we're shining a flashlight, not a laser, on these topics.
But when we come across something that we think we kind of know, but we don't really know, we're not afraid to deep dive to, confirm or debunk our own facts.
Well, totally.
Quote unquote facts.
We had an episode recently where we were talking about, I started to cough in the middle of the show, and we were talking about like the idea of something went down the wrong pipe, and like,
Right.
what is the pipe and the windpipe, and is it like, shut your pie hole, and like we end up going off on all these tangents, and sometimes we end up with more questions than answers, but isn't that the whole like beauty of living?
Yes.
Right? So if you're playing basketball like Michael Jordan, then sure, focus like a laser, not a flashlight. But if you want to live a curious life where you learn a lot of things, then be the flashlight. Do you have up the icebreaker for the show?
I do.
Now, interesting thing, this whole concept for the icebreaker actually came as a result of what we do on Don't Ask Me to Talk. And we pick our topics randomly each week for the next episode. And I was like, that's such a good idea. We should do it on this show. And so now here we are.
Yeah, speaking of flashlights, so do you remember those like a giant, like when they had the 6-volt flashlights, they'd have specific batteries just for flashlights that were like a big cube,
like square,
with like a giant spring on the top, and like they weighed like 8 pounds.
Yes.
You had to lug those around, and the battery would last like a week. Remember that?
Yes, and it was like, oh, if the lights go out, we have this, except that the batteries didn't last.
Right.
And it's not like the kind of battery. It's hard enough to find C or D batteries. Yes. Yeah, totally. So yes, I remember that.
This is one small way that things are better now. We often look back and go, the golden days,
right.
Things were so much better.
Like it was so much simpler then.
Well, but there's a lot of stuff that's so much better now. Like I've got, the equivalent lighting on my phone, which I carry with me all the time. And I don't have to buy a 8-pound battery to go with it. So that's my little, that's my ism, I guess, is like, be thankful.
Yeah, I like
Sometimes things are better.
Sometimes things are better, for sure. I mean, even like GPS, I think about when, you used to go to, what was it, AAA, and you could get like their triptychs or whatever, and you had to get all the directions and, like print them out, and, nothing like the safety of reading the directions while you're driving.
Right, yeah, trying to navigate and look at one of those old road maps that folded out to the windshield size.
Yep. Yeah, I mean,
that was the worst.
It was the worst. And
I don't know how anybody ever got around to anything.
And you had to go to another adjoining map if you were going from state to state or whatever it was.
Yep.
Ugh. Yeah, I'm with you on that.
But that being said, I loved atlases, road atlases.
Yeah.
Those were so much fun to look at and kind of just fantasize. So what about if we go over there at some point? Yeah.
Right. I'm with you.
Anyway.
And they were always in the back pocket of the back seat. At least ours were. So that they were always on the passenger side back pocket so that Dad could reach over and grab the atlas.
It's a good place for it.
Yeah. All right. Okay, so
spin the wheel.
Spin the wheel. Here we go.
Fave quote.
Oh, okay. I have a bunch. I have like a whole folder in Dropbox on favorite quotes, but one of the ones that I'm a really big fan of is, I think it was Edith Wharton said, there are 2 ways of spreading light. Be the candle or be a mirror that reflects it. And I really liked that idea because if you're the candle, then you're going to run out of light because, hello, you only have so much wax. And whereas a mirror, like, you're basically shining it back on someone else. And yes, technically you would run out of the candle wax if you're the mirror. But the point is you can spread light much more by reflecting it back at people. So
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I have any favorite quotes.
Okay. All right. That's fine. What about from a movie?
Okay. When you say favorite quotes, I guess there is a lot of stuff that I a quote and laugh about, like movies or TV shows or whatever. But I don't think I have like philosophical
inspirational
quotes.
one.
Yeah, the inspirational ones, which is what I was thinking you were looking for. But yeah, I mean, there's there's a movie called Walk Hard.
The Dewey Cox story.
Which is one of the funniest comedies of all time, in my estimation. And yet, so many people don't know this movie, but it is a great movie and well worth checking out if you haven't seen it. But it's endlessly quotable. And me and my girlfriend are constantly just bringing up little quotes from that. Like, you've gone smell blind, son.
Wow.
So, I mean, I guess that's my favorite quote.
There you go. I love that.
Dewey Cox's mother.
I love that. Well, and I mean, one could say that that's inspirational.
Sure.
Why not? Right? Oh my gosh, that's funny. I really need to see that movie. I feel like I saw part of it a long time ago. I need to sit down and watch the whole thing.
It's great. Yeah, it's just one of the funniest. And the crazy thing about it is it's a parody of music biopics. So the Johnny Cash story and the Buddy Holly story and the Ray Charles story. Yep. And it takes tropes from all of those and parodies them just with perfection. So now, even though that movie came out I want to say 2009, 2008, maybe. Okay. You watch a movie made in 2024 that's a music biopic, and it's like...
You're like, yep.
Yeah, it's like, wait, I've seen this in Walk Hard already.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's like parodying things that haven't even existed yet, which is a hard trick to do. But yeah, it's a great movie.
Awesome. All right, I'm going to have to watch it. Let's take a break here. And then when we come back, we're going to do a little episode of Don't Ask Me to Talk within this episode of Stacy Connects. So keep listening and you'll get to hear from Eric and myself.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you're stuck in a style rut? If so, take the first step on your journey and go to michaelbruceimageconsulting.com. Fill out their simple personal style assessment and schedule a complimentary, no obligation, 20-minute style consultation. Let the experts help you gain some perspective on your style challenges.
Hey, welcome back to Stacy Connects. Today, my guest is Eric Ryder. He is an engineer. He is a producer. He is part of a band. He's an enigma.
I don't know about that.
Well, I was trying to, really build it up for you. I'm just saying. So what I thought we would do is we have brought back the podcast that we started doing together. As I mentioned earlier in the show, we did this show starting in March of 2022, and I think we did it for a little over a year. And the premise was we talked about various random high holidays, celebrations, observations, things like that. And then we would come up with a topic that we would talk about. Now, typically, before we even get to the topic, we have gone down so many rabbit holes.
As I like to say, we never met a tangent that we didn't like.
Totally. And it's amazing how these holidays and birthdays and things that we talk about, they just are begging to be discussed ad nauseum. Wouldn't you say?
Well, I wouldn't have thought that before we started doing the show. But now that we're doing the show, I have to agree.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot that you can say. So
I got to give kudos to you for coming up with the concept of these high holidays with a Z, as we call them, because, I wouldn't have thought of that. And you're right. These are a lot of fun to talk about.
Yeah. I mean, what we have learned is that there are sites that are dedicated to these holidays. And the reason that I spell it with a Z is because, like, you're in a daze. And also,
Yeah, these
because
aren't federally recognized
right. They feel
holidays.
like off-brand.
Nobody, yeah, that's right. These are great value holidays.
Right, exactly.
Nobody's taking a day off work for International Fairy Day.
Exactly. Thank you.
Maybe Tinkerbell, but aside from that.
Right, exactly. So anyway, so I thought we'd give you a little taste of this. So, June. We're in June.
Yes.
Now, monthly observations. Now, this isn't technically one that I found on any site, but June Brides. Like, that's a whole thing. My
Also
parents,
a good band.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
June Brides?
The June Brides, yep.
Wow. What kind of music?
It's kind of poppy indie music.
Current? Past?
No, pass.
Okay.
Yeah, from the 80s.
Huh. Interesting. Okay. See, this is exactly what happens to us. So June Brides. My parents were married on June 24th, which was yesterday. My grandparents were married on June 24th. My aunt and uncle, on my dad's side, his brother, I think they were married on the 24th or 25th. I was married on the 13th. Like, June Brides is a thing. It's
seems
like,
to be a popular month.
I mean, I
get it
suppose
done.
it's not to get it done. Okay, says the man who's not married. Wow.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Right?
I mean,
you're getting it done. You're getting married.
wouldn't you
It's your
say
thing.
to get married? Like, but to get it done sounds like, oh, wow. I feel like we need to lay you down on a couch and unpack that.
I mean, it's a procedure that you have to go through to
Okay.
be married afterwards.
It's not a procedure.
It's not?
It's a ceremony.
Okay, but isn't that a procedure
No.
of sorts?
No.
Okay.
Gosh, I think we know how he feels about weddings and marriages. Anyway, yeah, so it must be that it's like it's not too hot and it's like you can
Right.
count on the weather and all those kinds of things.
Goldilocks weather.
Yes.
That's what you're looking for when
exactly.
you're having that done.
So wow. You better not let your girlfriend listen to this episode. I mean, I'm just saying.
She doesn't listen to anything I do or say, so it's all good.
And maybe this is why she will never be a June bride. So perfect.
She's been married before, so she's over it.
Did she get married in June last time?
I have no idea.
Wow.
That
All
was
right.
before my time.
All right. So don't ask, don't tell.
That's right.
Anyway, so yeah, so happy anniversary to all of you June brides out there. It's a good time to get married. I enjoyed it. I've been married for, oh gosh, now can I do the math? I got married in 92. So 32 years?
Wow.
Yeah, right? Like, I've been married now longer than I wasn't married. Wow. Okay. Let's move on because that's depressing.
I think I was just starting college and
Yeah, I was 22.
wow.
Yeah, I got married young. And no, I was not pregnant. So there you go. It is also home ownership month. And I wanted to bring this up because you own properties.
Yes.
And you've recently
Make
had
it sound
some...
like I'm some kind of baron or something,
Well, yeah. Hey, do you own like a square meter in Ireland so that you're a lord?
No.
Oh, I'm so going to get you that as a present.
I mean, that's not real, but
It is real. You can use it. There is paperwork that says that you can go by Lord Eric Ryder.
no.
Okay. Well, wait until you get it.
It's a nice thought, but it is a scam.
It's
But it's a
taking
fun scam.
It's taking
Sure.
green space and getting money for it.
But not really.
We'll discuss this off the air. He is a cynic, by the way.
There's a whole. I watched a whole explainer video on this, so it's
Oh, you did?
it's debunked. Yeah, you're not royalty if you buy the certificate.
Well, Will, who was given this gift, he is a royal pain. So
Well,
Will's
there
my
you
son.
go.
So there you go. Okay. So again, it's home ownership month. So how's that going for you lately?
It's going pretty well. I am very happy that I bought my house when I did because I can't afford it now. So I am thankful for that. But I think what you're alluding to is that I have a rental property.
What?
And last night I got a text at midnight because one of the tenants had water rushing from their ceiling in their living room, which is not good.
Now, how far is the
Obviously.
rental from your place?
It's about a 10-minute drive.
Okay.
Thankfully.
Yeah, right.
And so I said, oh, okay, I'm sorry to hear that. Would you be able to put a bucket underneath it? And, I'll come by in the morning, take a look, and we'll see if we can get somebody out. And they're like, it's a lot of water. So I said, I'll be right there. So I raced over, with containers to catch the water. And I go upstairs to the apartment above, and I'm like, hey, is anything going on? And they're like, no, we took a shower. We ran the washer earlier. And I'm like, okay. and
And what else?
And then turns out they went to sleep, and their cat turned on their kitchen faucet and left it running. This kitty is not a conservationist, apparently. And there was a bowl in the sink that was blocking the drain, so the sink filled up, and the water just started pouring out onto the floor, which then went under the carpet and it down through the ceiling to the downstairs neighbor. Yeah.
Now, did you have to go back upstairs and say, are you sure? Or did they come down and say, like, actually?
Well, so what happened is, like, as soon as I got the text, I called them and said, hey, anything going on, with water in your apartment? Because I thought, oh, well, maybe, something backed up.
Fair.
And it was like flooding the bathroom or whatever. And they're like, no, everything was normal. So I'm like, okay. So I thought, well, maybe like a pipe broke or something. Yeah. So I just said, let me double check that there's no problem, and went upstairs, even though this is like 12:30 at night now.
Wow.
And then she figured out that, yes, the cat had
Wow.
sabotaged.
Like cats, like Cole getting out of the family room
Right.
where he's quarantined. And I'm like, how did you get through the door? And this cat, like.
This cat's already been trouble before, too.
Oh, really?
Because I had a repair done under a sink, and they had to open up the wall. And like within a week, the cat went through the hole in the crawled under the sink, went through the hole, and then ended up on the roof.
Oh my gosh.
So it was like a scary afternoon. We're like, are we gonna have to cut open the wall to get this cat out? But luckily it found its way.
Oh my God. That is crazy.
Yes.
That does not bode well for Adopt a Cat Month.
No, it doesn't.
Which it is.
But yeah, they can be mischievous. But
Oh, for sure. Wow, that's crazy.
yeah, so it was a wild.
So home ownership is like, I mean, it's hard enough
There's
when it's
ups
your
and
own
downs
home,
with it,
right?
yes,
But then
yeah.
when you're a landlord on top of it,
Right.
that's like, wow.
Most
At
of the
least you're
time,
not a slumlord.
no, I try not to be, for sure.
So, I mean, that's good.
I mean, if somebody came over last night, they might think that was the case.
Well.
Because they got water coming from their ceiling, which is not a good thing by any stretch. But
well, and
we're
hopefully
getting
they
that
have
repaired.
renter's insurance, and like you've got insurance.
Luckily, I don't think anything got wet enough that it's going to cause them
Nice.
problems. Yeah, I'm going to have to replace some stuff, but I think
Yay.
the renters themselves are fine. But yeah, every day's an adventure.
I mean, yes. And, to your point, the fact that it is, the fact that it's home ownership month, like, the other thing that I think about with this is like our kids, to the point that you made earlier about being grateful that you bought your house when you did.
Mhm.
I think about my kids, 21 to 28, and how home ownership is really elusive for younger people now because it's so expensive. Insurance is crazy, obviously inflation and all that kind of thing, but it's crazy expensive.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get Will to get one of those shipping containers and buy some property and create like a cool container house.
Well, here's the thing. I think we need to give some guidance and get people to volunteer to do things. Because often what I hear with like older people that want to retire and sell their house is, where would I go? I can't afford anything in my area that's smaller now. And I'm in the same boat now, but I'm still working. But there's large swaths of the country that are virtually unpopulated,
I know.
like tons of towns. And you can't tell me that the real estate is all that expensive in these places where nobody cares about.
You mean like those green lands that are like
And-
have lordships that aren't real?
And younger people have to live near the cities because that's where their jobs are. So we just need to find some creative way to get older folks that can live somewhere where they don't have to be near their job into houses in places, where there aren't the jobs, so they can live off their retirement and stuff in a cheaper place. And then that frees up those
Isn't that Florida?
houses. Well, there you go. Well, I don't know how cheap Florida is anymore, though.
No, it's not. But I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's like there needs to be, like communities that are ideal places. I mean, I think
Right.
Arizona has a lot of that because people that have respiratory issues, that's a dry place, and there's certainly areas. I hear what you're saying.
And I don't know what needs to happen there. Maybe they need to start building strategic healthcare centers or something around like small towns that are losing populations. So,
That's true. Kind of
people-
like how there's the
yeah.
Mayo Clinic. You could do like the getting older clinic, and people could like head that way.
Or the mustard clinic.
Or salsa. I'm sorry, wait,
That's
that
right,
was
the
May.
salsa clinic.
That was from a past episode. Is salsa a condiment? Is dip a condiment?
So
Anyway.
really, I mean, we are problem solvers. I think we've proved that time and again on the show.
100%. It is. I mean, we certainly wouldn't want to put any of these communities near where there's wildfires.
That's right.
Unless, of course, we had the
rain barrels.
rain barrels. Okay. Anyway, so those are some month-long observations and holidays. Now, for the week starting yesterday, June 24th, going through the week, there are some holidays worth noting. You already mentioned International Fairy Day.
Right.
And as you said, not many are going to get the day off, but Tinkerbell, maybe.
Yeah. She's like, applause or not, I got to rest.
Exactly. And like National Patch Day. Like, who comes up with that?
I don't know. Does that mean you wear a patch
I don't
or
know.
you patch something up or
I probably should have done I probably should have clicked the link to find out what that actually meant. I can still do that probably. But like these holidays, we did learn through this that you can like buy a holiday if you're willing to spend money on it,
right?
which is kind of a random thing. Like, oh, you can have National Patch Day, I guess.
Yeah, or National Take Back the Lunch Break Day.
Okay. Oh, all right. Now I feel bad. Ugh, I hate it when I feel bad because I said something that's bad. So it is the Oliver Patch Project, and it is about each year on June 24th, it's National Patch Day to empower kids with cancer to find their inner warrior. And so it's about having a patch to show that you are fighting cancer. So don't
Nice.
I look like a jerk?
Well, it's something positive as
It is
opposed to
something
something,
positive. Yeah.
pointless.
So there's that. So that's kind of a cool one.
Yeah, that had a happy ending.
Yeah, it did. there's today, the 25th, is National Catfish Day, and it's the actual fish, not the act of tricking someone.
Good. I don't think we should celebrate that.
No, it's not. I listened to a podcast about somebody that had been catfished, and it turned out to be like their cousin or something. And throughout the entire podcast series, and I don't remember what it was called. I'll have to look it up and put it in the show notes. But we listened to this podcast, Pete and me, as we would go back and forth to the lake house. And we're like, at what point should she know better? Like, I mean, this went on for like years. It was crazy. And you just couldn't really figure out. Like, sometimes it's like, okay, it made sense, but then there's like plausible denial. I don't know. It was a crazy story.
Yeah, I watched a movie, documentary called Tall, Hot Blonde that came out in 2009 that I think is one of these, the first, probably not the first, but one of the first high-profile catfishing stories. And it's just tragic and awful. And, I just think like, oh, I kind of wish that they showed this in schools or whatever, so people would be very wary about these kind of things.
I found the name of it. Sweet Bobby. That's the name of the podcast.
All right.
And it's a story about this catfishing and like totally psychological manipulation by this other person. And it's like a whole like romance that occurred over years, and the person that was doing this to her again is family, and the family didn't all support her. I mean, it was a fascinating podcast, a really good listen. So check out Sweet Bobby, but don't like and subscribe them. Like and subscribe us. Anyway,
right.
nice call out. So Catfish Day.
Do you like catfish, by the way?
I don't know if I've ever had it.
I feel like I must have tried it at some point.
Yeah, I did. I had it at I think it's called Jackson's in Seattle, and it was
on a po' boy.
It was a basket. It wasn't a po' boy.
Okay.
But it was really good, actually. Their sauce is crazy. I think it's called Jackson's Catfish Corner, maybe? Now I got to look that up. Yeah, Jackson's Catfish Corner on Jackson Street in Seattle. Unbelievable. And that's the first time I ever had it. It was good. Didn't have whiskers. So.
Good thing.
Yeah. Okay, what other holidays? Any that you're seeing here that you want to talk about?
Ooh. National Strawberry Parfait Day. Can't go wrong with that.
No?
You have your catfish and then your strawberry parfait.
Yeah, right.
National Canoe Day. I feel like canoes are kind of out of fashion these days. But,
I know.
That's why they have the holiday, to bring them back.
Between stand-up paddleboards and kayaks, like they've gone the way of LL Bean.
World Drug Day, National Canoe Day, and National Day of Joy.
Are all the same day.
All on the same day. So I can imagine a real wild mashup celebrating all of those things.
Yeah, right? Well, there are like interesting things. Like, for instance, the 27th is PTSD Awareness Day, which I have a friend, and he was a guest on the show a while back, Dr. Richard Adler, and he founded the PTSD Institute in Seattle, and they actually have meetings that you can attend for free if you're going through that. Check it out. But it's the same day as like Sunglasses Day, and I feel like if you have PTSD, maybe you're wearing sunglasses.
Well, and I feel like the fact that National Bomb Pop Day is the same day, it just seems wrong.
Well, right? And
I didn't even know what a bomb pop is, but anything with bomb in it on National PTSD Day.
Is a bomb pop the same as a firecracker?
I don't know.
See, these are listeners, these are the questions that Eric and I ask on the show. And as you can see, like somebody has to do the hard work here. I'm just saying. All right, I'm going to look this up. Firecracker popsicle.
No, bomb pops are, I guess, those popsicles that are red, white, and blue.
Yeah. Because America.
Right. I didn't know they had a whole day to them.
Yeah. I mean, again, America.
Yeah, and there was a separate ice cream that you could get from the ice cream truck that wasn't the bomb pop, but was called a missile. Remember those? Those were like yellow and red. Missile pops.
Vaguely. I was always getting the snow cones because they took forever to eat. And I was looking for a long-lasting treat. So I don't remember
I always
those.
wanted the drumstick, but Mom wasn't, giving over that much.
Those are expensive.
Absolutely. If you get them from the ice cream man, that drumstick. I mean, there was the tiers. You could get like a standard popsicle that was like, red or
purple, orange,
or yellow or
yep.
orange, and those were the flavors. I mean,
totally.
It tastes like the color or whatever. But then like slightly above that, I think was like the bomb pops and the missile pops,
strawberry shortcake.
That probably would have been a top tier.
You think so?
Yeah, that sounds expensive.
says the child version of Eric, like remembering that and like, ooh, maybe because I definitely didn't get those until I was older and I was paying for them myself.
So my mom anyway would have sprung for maybe the missile pop or the popsicle or the bomb pop, but definitely not the drumstick or the strawberry shortcake or whatever. But,
although I don't have many complaints because my dad, when we used to go on Sunday drives, which were like, these long car rides, so he could go find something to photograph. I, of course, would get car sick and whatever. But the thing that I could be guaranteed is that we would stop for ice cream. So as many complaints as I have about those long, tedious car rides, at the very least, I did get ice cream. And to this day, one of the reasons why I eat ice cream so quickly is because Dad wouldn't let me have sprinkles because he didn't want them to get in the car. And so I learned to eat ice cream really quickly so I could get the sprinkles off.
My mom got around that by giving us like a whole box of like sugar cereal to eat on the road trips. So
Didn't that just jack you up? Like get you all like, woo!
Yeah, probably. But it did stop us from going, can we stop and get ice cream? Can we stop and get, so yeah.
Your mother is a wise woman.
Yeah, she was smart. But I got to say, like, the one time I went on a road trip with my dad, and he didn't, say no to everything like my mom did. And they gave me money. I ended up, like, spending, like, $10 probably on candy and stuff, and then got sick. And then I was like, okay, so there's got to be
there's a happy medium,
an equilibrium there. Yes, you've got to walk that line. Between just completely indulging and abstaining from, road trip treats. So
yeah, I once got a candy cigar, and we were going to Montreal to visit family friends. Yeah, like the gum cigars.
Okay.
And I don't know why I got it.
I remember the candy cigarettes.
This was like it was like wrapped in cellophane, and it had like the little tab around it.
Insane that there was ever candy promoting smoking to children.
Like, and so much so. And anyway, we were going to Montreal in the summertime, and I got it, and the back of the car had like, an area behind the seats, like where the window came up. It was almost like a backseat dash. Anyway, left it in the car and it melted, and Dad was not happy. Happy family memories. Okay, so normally when we're doing the show, we also talk about birthdays and that kind of thing, but how much time do we have?
I would say we've got about 8 minutes or so left.
All right. So we normally talk about holidays, like we want to highlight Ross Perot, for instance, or maybe Henry VIII. I am.
Can I finish? Can I
Exactly.
finish?
However, I figured we would talk about. We normally have some kind of a topic that we talk about.
Yeah, we use our Wheel-O topics, our patented Wheel-O topics.
Exactly.
To figure out what we should be discussing each week on Don't Ask Me to Talk, available wherever you find your podcast.
So I came up with a topic. Did you know that?
I don't remember spinning the wheel.
Well, you know what? I rigged that. Again, I made that wheel. I can take out that wheel. I rigged it. So here's the topic. Are you a morning person or are you a night owl?
Well, see, now I haven't had a whole week to pretend that I was thinking about this.
But you don't
topic.
ever think about it. Okay, so here's the deal.
And do my in-depth research.
Exactly. We spin the wheel, and then I write down what the topic is on like my notes on the computer, and then neither of us think about it again until pretty much right before, when I'm like, oh, what were we talking about?
And then we look it up and
Right.
then go, oh, yeah.
Right.
I was going to think about that all week long.
Right.
And did not.
So,
But that's part of the fun,
it's more spontaneous.
Exactly. We're
So,
spontaneous people.
I suspect that you could answer the question of whether you're a morning person or a night owl.
Morning person or a night owl? Yes, I could answer that. And I am definitely a night owl. I'm not a morning person.
I am too. Now, has that changed over time?
It's changed slightly in that I have a job.
Okay. Yeah.
When I didn't have a job, I was way more of a night person than I am now, which is still quite a lot of a night person. But I also, realize I got to get up at a certain time. I got to get dressed and I got to go to work or I'm not going to have my house that we talked about earlier. So
home ownership appreciation.
Exactly. Yeah. So to illustrate this, in the earlier story where I got the text at midnight, I come, bail us out, literally.
Right.
I was still fully clothed and essentially ready to go at that time, where a lot of people would have been fast asleep in bed at that point.
Yeah. Well, I'm with you on that. I have always been a night person. I also wonder if there's any correlation between that and ADHD. Because I find that it's almost hard to fall asleep because my mind is always racing. And then in the morning, I now actually take meds to manage it or help me manage it. And so when I wake up in the morning, I take the meds and it takes a while for them to kick. It's not like it's an immediate like cartoon thing where it's like bing, bang, boom,
Yeah.
and you're ready to go. So it takes a little while to get into your system. And so I'm like, don't even talk to me. Like for some people, it's like, don't talk to me until I've had my coffee. I'm like, I have to watch a couple of videos. I have got to look at emails. I have to read the news, play Wordle, all these things.
I had trouble like falling asleep my whole life. But I've kind of found a little life hack because I also had the mind racing thing where I'd be thinking about like everything that's gone on in the day and even like, old grudges and conversations from decades ago that have no relevance to my current life.
I so relate to this.
It's like in Walk Hard, Dewey Cox has to think about his whole life before he performs. At the start of the movie, and then they look back on his whole life. Well, that's kind of how it felt like me trying to go to sleep. I had to like relive my whole existence. And when you got 8 hours that you should be sleeping, you can get into a good chunk of that. But not too long ago, I started just listening to a podcast as I was going to sleep. And I find that's great because it distracts me from my stupid thoughts. And I start thinking about, the podcast stuff. But the secret is you got to get get one that's interesting, but not too interesting. So
right.
This is perfect.
Wait.
I'm just kidding.
No, I think we would keep people awake. Maybe the Sweet Bobby story.
Entirely possible. But
That's a good idea.
anyway, like I listen to some history podcasts and stuff, and it's interesting enough to like start me thinking about something besides my dumb life, and then after a little while, I'm tired and I just drift off. So I would try that.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
I listen occasionally to guided meditations. And that helps. Where it's sort of like, remember in the movie, did you see the movie The Help? Tell me that
No,
you saw them.
I haven't seen it.
Anyway, one of the characters says to the child that she takes care of, like, you was good, you was kind, you was pretty, like this whole thing. So listening to a guided meditation that's like, hey, you're great, whatever. I just can fall asleep and be like, yeah, I'm great. It's not quite that simple. But I hear what you're saying, and that is a good life hack.
Well, there is a specific one that I like also called Drifting Off with Joe Pera, which is specifically made to talk you to sleep. He's got a very gentle monotone delivery.
Interesting.
And he puts in like subtle jokes to every podcast. But they're not so funny that you stay awake.
Wait, what's it called? Drifting Off?
Drifting Off with Joe Pera. And I love this podcast, but I've never made it fully through an episode.
Which is like the greatest accolade that he could ever get.
Exactly. Yeah. It only comes out like once a month, I think, but it's fun.
He puts himself to sleep.
If you if you fall asleep midway, that's the thing. You could stretch out one episode over a month's time.
That's true.
Yeah. Pick up where you slightly remember some of it and then just go from there.
I think that's why some of these apps like Headspace do the stories and everything. They get people with good voices to tell a story.
He'd be perfect for that.
There you go. All right. So anyway, hey, everybody. This is essentially what our show, Don't Ask Me to Talk, is like.
Yeah.
Now you got a little sample taste of what it's about. And so now you can go and you can subscribe to it and take a listen as we talk about, what do we say? Everything from the ridiculous to the sublime. No, the sublime to the ridiculous.
That's right.
So,
yeah, and if you want to drift off to it, we don't mind.
No, we don't. Just subscribe first.
That's right.
Thank you, Eric, for being my guest today.
Always a pleasure.
For being my co-host and for being awesome.
I love it.
All right. Have a great week, everybody. See you
too.
next time.
Ranked number 1 in innovation 10 consecutive years, Arizona State University isn't just ahead of the curve. It's creating new paths to success. Learn from notable clinical and research faculty. Online, that's a degree better. Explore programs at asuonline.asu.edu.